Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we'll be talking about something really important. If you're a returning subscribers, thank you for returning back to my YouTube channel, and if you're a new subscriber, you're welcome to our YouTube channel. So on this YouTube channel we talk about hair growth products, hair growth recipes, and like also how to take care of our hair, gaining that length, and also like gaining healthy hair in general. So today I'll be talking about how I was able to regrow my edges, how I was able to regrow my edges after postpartum hair loss. And all I'll be sharing here today is basically from experience, what has worked for me, how I was able to like regrow my edges after losing so much, and especially like with so much shedding that comes with postpartum hair loss. My number one tip would be to reduce all forms of manipulation. Reduce all, constantly touching your hair, constantly changing updo, especially if you're in like Africa, or especially if you have like 4C hair or 4B hair. You want to make sure that you're reducing all forms of manipulation after giving birth, or if, say for example, that place is a bald patch that has stayed there for a couple of months, you want to make sure that you minimize manipulation entirely. This single step would help that surface area rest, so there's no constant manipulation, there's no constant pulling. This really helped me because as at that time my scalp was very sensitive. Any small pull makes that place irritated. So I tried as much as I could to reduce all forms of manipulation, and this really helped me a lot. On to the next tip, that would be using growth stimulating products and also like moisturizing your edges or even the bald patches. Growth stimulating products contains ingredients that are known to promote growth and also like stimulate those dormant hair follicles to produce hair. So when you apply those growth stimulating products, you want to make sure that you are using your scalp massaging to massage. And what happens when you massage that particular area is that blood flows into that particular area with nutrients, especially from what you've eaten, and also like the topical growth oil that you've also applied. Nutrients that are needed to nourish that part and also like stimulate growth. So use growth stimulating product. Make sure you're using that at least 2 times weekly. Massage, just be gentle massage, and then you are good to go. Also, do not forget to moisturize your hair because your edges too get dry in the process. So you want to make sure that you're using growth stimulating product to moisturize your edges and also like all that, please. Others, again, when you've just given birth, or even like say for example if you are dealing with frontal hair loss and you are always like in the habit of constantly wearing wigs, you may really want to consider reducing the amount of wigs that you wear. I mean, in terms of like the frequency at which you wear your wigs, because what happens is that when you wear your wig, the wig sits on your edges directly, right? Even if you're gluing the wig or you're ungluing the wig, it sits on your edges completely. And imagine that you kept that wig from morning to evening. That's constant tension that has been on your edges. I remember when I used to wear wigs, I still do wear wigs, but like I allow my hair breathe so much. So when I used to wear wigs, I noticed that if I wear wigs back to back, like on a daily basis, I'll notice that all of a sudden my edges are appearing scanty or even appearing somehow fragile. So you want to make sure that, like, say for example, if you're wearing wig on Monday, you could push the next weekday to Thursday. That way you're giving your edges like enough time to breathe, and then you also allowing your edges to be. Please do not like overwear wigs, or even if you are wearing wigs, just give your edges space. Do not like constantly wear wigs on a daily basis because that would slow down the whole growth process. Another thing you want to do is make sure that you are not like gluing your wigs to your edges. That thing, when you take off the glue, or you're trying to take off the glue, there are definitely small hairs that comes out of your edges when you're trying to take off the glue from the wig that you had glued to your hair. So just make sure that you are not like even applying any form of tension, anything that stresses your edges, you want to stay off it. Another thing a lot of women do not notice, and I think we don't really know that is actually playing a huge impact on how our edges look, on even how our edges grows, is constantly like brushing your hair. Especially, say for example, if you have like very scanty edges, you do not want to constantly brush your edges, guys. That's friction that, you know, on a daily basis you're scooping your edges, you're constantly brushing the edges. That singular act on a daily basis would gradually rip off your edges, and before you know it, it appears that your edges are not growing, or it appears that your the edges you once had are no longer there. So you want to make sure that you are like you're using brushes at the minimum. What really worked for me was, you know, when I split the leave-in conditioner, I'll just apply the leave-in conditioner and hair growth oil. I will use my hands and then, you know, just brush in the product or push in the product, and then tie my silk hair scarf to make the product and my hair lay, and that way it looks all presentable regardless of how long I've worn that style. So say for example, this hair is about 1 month old, and you can see that it's still very presentable. You can see that I'm still rocking the hair, and this is because like I only like just apply the hair growth oil, apply my moisturizer, and then I use my scarf to tie down the hair, and then all those frizzy hairs or all those hairs that make your hair look slightly old, you wouldn't be seeing them because your hair is all laid. So you don't need to constantly scoop your edges or even like lay your edges. Please reduce the amount of brush that you're constantly like, you know, brushing your edges, especially if you're serious about growing your edges or even like that bow patch. The final thing I would say is like be patient. It took me about 2 months to properly like fully grow my edges completely. I would insert pictures here and there of how like my edges were, but it took me 2 months and I was consistent. So you want to be consistent with all of these tips. Make sure you're moisturizing, you're oiling with those growth stimulating products, and you're massaging. Also make sure that you minimize the amount of wigs you're wearing. That could be very detrimental, especially if you're wearing it back to back. And then like make sure that you are not over manipulating your edges. Just forget about all styles that you know that pulls the edges to a certain point, because when you're using your shoelace or when you're using anything to, you know, drag your edges to the middle or to the back, what suffers the most is your edges, which is why you see that the middle part of your hair remains long and intact, meanwhile your edges are all short and then all fragile. So you want to make sure you're doing all of this, and to be honest, you will see massive results. This has helped me and has also like helped a lot of women that I've shared this secret with, and you may want to consider trying that. Alright guys, so this brings me to the end of the video. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you